We set the trend in the script.
Absolutely.
You are, you have been, you will be under the roof.
Snip this glue, get in the zone, because we got to go do something. So that's what we did. And I'm going to be honest with you, I used to like it. You got people from the east and the west and different places, to come over and groove with us.
Was Hoover Groovers a part of Hoover? Never met a Hoover Groover.
Never met.
Me either, never in my life. But
A part of what was called the Bonzella Crips.
Hoover Groovers ain't started no Hoover Crips. And we hit that hand moving on you, walking in your house.
Wait, do that again.
Hit that hand moving on you, that messed up your whole party. You are, you have been, you will be under the group. Let's go back a little bit, because you were speaking about the fisticuffs and hands. And one thing about Hoover's, I have to admit, Hoover's had hands up and down the spectrum. They had hands. Yeah. We had gyms on the set. Yeah. We had the Hoover gym. I think there was a gym on
108 Broadway.
Was it Broadway?
Yeah, 108
Was there
Broadway.
a gym on 101st somewhere? Or a gym somewhere on Vermont?
Just for his weightlifting, not boxing.
Not boxing.
Babes gym.
Babes gym.
Yeah.
Right there on 103rd in Vermont.
Now I know about 108th though. My question is, where did Dopey and them learn to get down? Because I understand Dopey had hands.
Dopey had hands. Bloodstone had hands.
They had serious hands.
They had hands. Dirty Red.
Boxing skills.
Yeah, Dirty Red. He was Dirty Red was really they had hands, but Dopey. Tell you the truth, I think Dopey taught my brother how to get in.
That's what he said.
You know what I'm saying? And Dopey was another big homie from Nine Deuce that I idolized.
Yeah.
And to the day,
who didn't?
Yeah, and I love Dopey, because every time he seen me, Lil Red, I missed the homie, but Lil Red, Dirty Red, Dopey, like I said, the Nine Deuces, man. I'm not belittling them or nothing like that, because they was the biggest thing cracking right there. I mean, from cold and on,
Yeah, real shit. That's true. And I was from the 70s, but I knew, we started venturing out, when our turn came, hanging down, 92nd Street and 107th Street, you know what I'm saying? So it was already cracking, that's one of the reasons we would come down. It was a hub as well. You know what I mean? 92nd and 107 was hubs. You know what I'm saying? We would go down, okay, we're going to hang out with Whoop to Whoop Whoop, and that's what we did. We understood, man, everybody down that way had hands. They knew how to get down, and the shit was real. You know what I'm saying? So we always respected that. I need to ask you, Doboy, in terms of when you decided that Salo was the one, the choice, you know what I mean? When you decided Salo was going to be the one for you, man, how was your mind? Was your mindset like, and I'm not asking about activities and shit. I mean, just speaking in terms of how you was going to carry yourself from that point on, you know what I mean? How you interact, not with just Nine Deuces now that you 107, but other Hoover sets, you know what I'm saying? Did any change take place in you, as a result of, it was still Hoover, but from 92nd to 107, was there some more, I don't know, moxie, so to speak? Salos was powerful back then, I have to say. Magnificent Seven. As a kid, I remember that shit. So,
like I say, Moo was like my idol, man. Moo, he just loved us, back then he was young, we was younger than him, but he'd just be around on the set every day, or if he come through, he might come through and y'all jump in the back truck. We jump in the back of the truck and we everywhere, all through the sets, everywhere, you know what I'm saying? So Mo was like, he was the one, man.
I think just that statement right there. I think a lot of homies from other Hoover sets did what he saw that as an example and was doing that shit. Because I remember homies down in the 70s who just, come on, man, let's go. And you know. So I don't know where they got it from, but you saying that, I could recall homies doing the same thing. And these homies were after Move, you know. But somewhere along the line, they picked that up, and and we love them to death. Same way you're talking about Move, in terms of how he got down with, his love. You know what I mean? He wanted to see you do better, prosper, be the best you can be. We had the same cats, and they was after Move. So I wonder where y'all get. And one of my homies come down from that way. Devil from 7-4 come from down that way.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And he would tell me stories and shit. So it made me wonder where you get that, because he's like, man, come on, man, get in. We'll go. So I respect hearing that about Move, man, because I'm telling you, I had that same experience, and I don't know where they got it from, but chances are where it come from. Who knows? Yeah. But so that was the thing, man. Move was that guy, man.
I remember, I think I started Bret Hart in like 74. And I used to hear about Move and Red. And then I finally got a chance to see him. You know what I'm saying? Because Move wasn't going there when I went there. But him and Red used to come up there, and they be G'd up with the Pendletons, the bald head. I'm like,
Hoover guy.
I'm like, when I get around that age, that's gonna be me right there.
Yeah, I can recall. Yeah. Well, I already know the effect had to be the same on you, even more so, because you was right quick. You were meeting dudes that you probably didn't have the opportunity to meet because it broke.
Well, when my brother and them, I'm gonna cut back just a little bit.
Go ahead.
When my brother and them was doing their thing, because Move, my brother, all them, at this time they was hanging in my backyard, like in our garage and shit, and all that type of shit. And at that time I was like, I wasn't the little brother no more like that, follow behind my big brother. I started doing my own thing. So Woodcrest connected me to nothing but soldiers. And it's crazy how today a lot of people don't know, but when I was a kid going to Woodcrest, that's how my connection came with the homie Lurch, Benno's, Monster Cody. Cody hung with us. Chicken Ed, Mac. Them was my main dudes that I hung with and went to Devil's Dip with. And I remember when Cody used to ride up and down with motherfuckers used to cry and was scared of suicide. Cody would go up in that motherfucker 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't nothing.
That was
Bonnie hopping on top of the car. Cody was a bad motherfucker in our hood on a motherfucking dirt bike.
Let me ask you something about the bikes, because we all grew. Well, I can't say for everybody. I know Hoovers had dirt bikes. A lot of us, before we started gang banging, we was on dirt bikes.
Yeah.
We graduated from skateboards to dirt bikes, and Devil's Dips was one of the spots everybody went to. There was a bike club on 78 between Hoover and Fig, Sonny's Bike Club. Y'all ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Man, they was deep. That I was a kid, man. I mean, hundreds. They would ride, man, but they was doing the tricks and shit. And Devil's Dips was one of the places. That's how I ended up first going to Devil's Dips, riding with Sonny's Bike Club. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I heard the story. Matter of fact, I met Monster down in 11 Deuce on a dirt bike.
Yeah.
That's when I first met him.
Yeah, that's who you beat.
That's when I first met him.
And you know what? It was crazy because, like I said before, it was crazy how I had to go to Henry Clay, because Henry Clay built my alliances so deep that it was like when, my big brother and them, they was already allies with the A-Trade gangsters.
Okay.
But when me and Cody was like, we was best friends, and I used to bring Cody on 107. So I brung a lot of homies on 107 because back then, Doboy let you tell you, back then people couldn't go on 107. So all my friends, sometimes I had to go on 106 to hang out with them. Or I had, but people be like, I ain't going on no 107. You know what I'm saying? So at that time, when I started gangbanging was when Ani told me we 107s. That's when I gangbanged. That's when my from claiming to banging, that's when it went. And so when we became when we started like gangbanging real tough, real hard, that's why I think our younger the younger second generation, our allies became so close with the A-Trade gangsters because at that time we was already going over there in gangsterhood, kicking it with Monster.
Okay.
You know, and so by us meeting, you know, hanging with Monster, that's how we met like Crazy D,
Okay.
Diamond,
Right.
all the, you know, A-Trade gangsters, and we like, damn, you know, these motherfuckers like us.
Yeah.
You know, this way before gangster and 60s
In the
was
60s,
getting
the
into
wars.
it. Because I remember we went to a party one time, and on Western and 65th, we over there visiting Monster, and we in the party, and it was some cat from 60s. We in the party on Western and 65th, and the dude from 60s was like in there throwing up neighborhood, right? And the homie Lurch, you know what I'm saying, you know, took off. And boom, and so Monster, like, you know, Lurch, you know, and Lurch was like, man, he disrespected me, like he threw neighborhood up, you know, on me. And we didn't know the difference between 60s and 111s at that time.
Right.
At that time, we was at it with them.
With the 111s,
and but that's when it tripped me out, because I think back then they was allies then. You know what I'm saying? So Monster they didn't want to get into it with none of us. Because they was cool with them and they was cool with us. You know what I'm saying? And it just trips me out how our allies, how we got so close, because the second generation got so close because we was already with Monster. Monster hung with us. He was with us in the dirt.
Yeah. You want to add to that?
What I would say is I do remember that.
Yeah.
You know, Monster hanging with us. Monster, he was the real one.
He was a real one.
Yeah, he was like he was a knockout artist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He had squabbles. I think I met Monster because we used to did school, and we used to go up to other people's school.
That's right.
But at this time, Monster he wasn't Monster at that time. He
was
Cody.
Just Cody.
You know, so this probably had to be like around probably like 72, somewhere around there. And that's how I end up meeting. But on down the line, it like slipped my mind because I'm young, you know. I didn't hang out with him and nothing. I just knew who he was by going up to the school. And as I got older, you know, I'm hearing this Monster, and I'm like, Monster.
Right.
Then the Cody, first it was Monster, then the Monster Cody came. I'm like, that's Cody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Crazy D, he used to live right next door to us. We was about 7 years old at the time. So by me living down there in the 80s, I knew a lot of gangsters. Big Spike.
Right.
You know, DJ, Dumps. All of them.
You know, one thing I think is prevalent, man, in terms of our generations, RGs or those, they had relationships. And a lot of them was solid. They spilled over to our generation, you know what I'm saying? But our generation had relationships too. You know what I'm saying? Sad to say, a lot of them didn't last. You know, we in a situation now where we don't have those relationships. You know, the same dudes we partied with, got drunk, threw up with, same females, whatever, you know, whatnot, you know. Relationships, man, I think are important to the point where we maintain and we take care of them, man. A lot of shit that we experienced, we wouldn't have had, you know, we wouldn't have went through had we took care of them relationships. Just the fact you talking about this, you know, man, Monster, man, and Diamond and Crazy D, and ever, you know,
Mad Bone, like,
come on, man,
Mad Bone, another one.
Man, on the whole, boy, come on, these are relationships, man, you know, and the homies had them. The homies had them before we had them. So the question is, you know, there was a question posed that Sets didn't like us, didn't like Hoover, couldn't stand Hoover, didn't like Hoover, period. They didn't come hang with Hoovers and da-da-da. Any truth to that?
You know what, bro? On the real, I'm going to keep it real. Like, I know for a fact in the 100s, on 107, a lot of motherfuckers when moved, the reason a lot of motherfuckers was hating us like over that way, it was hard to be a Hoover. Like, it wasn't easy to be a Hoover then.
That's right.
Because we was built, I always felt that we was built different.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like when we went to like Washington or something like that, or schools and shit like that, I remember I was telling the homie, I remember, you know, Hoover always had, like, I learned the rules and regulations. It's what you can do and what you can't do.
That's right.
So I remember when we went up to schools and motherfuckers you know, because this is how we used to get out at parties. We'll walk up there and tell a motherfucker, if a motherfucker step on your motherfucking Romeos or biscuits, you break out that rag and say, motherfucker, wipe them off. If you don't wipe them off, we're going to knock you out. So then if a motherfucker really, you know, a motherfucker like me at them days, I fake like you stepped on my shit.
Yeah, just
to fuck you up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was just our shit was different. It was like you come down 107th Street. You know,
you had
one
to
of
be
the
hard.
homies to tell somebody, hey man, give me $1. Remember that one?
Mhm.
Give me $1. I ain't got no dollar. Motherfucker, slap that pocket, pop. You hear that change, motherfucker, you lie.
Pocket checking.
Now we putting you against the wall like LAPD.
You being jack. Pocket checking.
Yeah, it was just that shit was normal for us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yes,
when
sir.
we went to like schools like Washington or other schools, it was like people was like, who is these little motherfuckers?
This some foreign shit. We don't do
this
this
some
here.
foreign shit, but it was regular for us.
Yeah.
I remember Ani used to, this is another thing. Ani used to, when I used to go to parties and shit, and I never told my brother and them shit like this because that was just me and Ani thing. And back then, motherfuckers are like and that's when they had the Batman black jackets.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers be in the party, and Ani used to come tell me, Lil Red, that motherfucker in there said, you know what I'm saying, you try to take his jacket, he gonna fuck you up. So back then, after the party, you know how the parties used to be, it'd be a big old circle. And you right in the middle of that motherfucker. I had a fight with that motherfucker about an hour and a half. I was tired of the motherfucker. Yeah, but that's just how it was.
I didn't remind me when a little shit started though, right?
Yeah.
Every set got him on Hoover. I promise you. Goes, oh man, that motherfucker, you ain't shit, man. He'll get some shit started, man. That's some classic shit.
But when you look back,
you sound
on
like
it,
it's fun.
But when
though.
you look back on it, though, it built.
It made you.
It built me, and that's why I say it was hard to be from Hoover then, because when my hitters like Lurch, Benos, all of us do. I mean, like when we was all hitters, other motherfuckers couldn't hang because we gang banged 24 hours. I mean, I had moved to Watts, and I'd be on 107 at 7:30 in the morning. And if a motherfucker back then didn't show up on the set, we beating the shit out of you. So, you know, it was like, you know, we had an old saying, like, you got to put 7 guns on the set and you got to get down. You got to put in work 7 days a week. That was just how we was. So when we met, to make it look a little shorter, when we met, like, I think it was like once the 7 folds, like Moo always told us, like, these is your people. These is your, because back then we were just pushing Hoover.
Yeah.
And when Lady Red and all them came from the fold, Big Sam, Goose, Shawnee, Tony Mozique, I can name so many of them.
Man.
Walt Dog from the fall. I mean, it was like we was like, these motherfuckers is just like us. Yeah. You know, we finna tear some shit up. And all you heard every Monday morning after school, when school was over on Monday mornings, Hoover did it.
Right.
You know, y'all hear about what the Hoover did?
Said,
yeah, Hoover did
front line. We was front line Crips.
And it ain't no extra shit though, you know. And that's something I think a lot of viewers need to understand. Regardless where you're from, man, you know, you can oppose it, but those are facts. Those are facts, man. You know, that's what it was.
And you know, it was a Crip. I think back when we was really banging hard. Our whole thing was, our generation was that's why I say I love Moo so much. It all go back to Moo, because Moo used to tell us, and the big homies gonna love y'all. Like, and I remember when Sam, like certain homies get out, and they'd be like, "Who's these little motherfuckers?" And Moo be like, "These little motherfuckers down." Like, you know, our people from other places we've been, you know, fucked up or dumped on or whatever. They'll always run the Moo, and they'll tell Moo like they telling our uncle or daddy on us or something. Moo was always like our big brother, and when they'd go tell Moo on us, and we'd come from somewhere. And we'd be like already plotting on some more shit. Moo would be like, "Hey man, y'all come in." We'd be like, "What's up?" He'd start laughing. It's crazy. You know, Moo liked it, that shit. Moo liked it to get down. You know?
He liked it, yeah.
That's what he was known for.
Man, that sounds like some shit Joe was saying. He said, "Man, I liked it." You know,
oh man, Hoover Joe.
I liked it.
You know, my real homie was Sugar Bear, Big Sugar Bear.
Oh yeah,
right.
Okay.
He showed us how to get down. I mean. So many of them, homie. It was just the Hoover way.
The whole spectrum, homie.
Yeah.
Full trade to the one way, homie.
I remember
the whole spectrum.
all them days, man. I remember when Hoover, man. I remember when we first came out, that's why I say it was hard to be a Hoover. I remember going to like times we'd go to like a party they was having in the neighborhood or something. And it'd be like 20 of us with a one single shot deuce rifle. A single shot deuce rifle, but we don't give a fuck. We think we got a machine gun or something. And we go to that motherfucking party, homie, and the homie Devil would tell the motherfuckers, hey man, y'all play flashlight.
Yeah.
As soon as flashlight going on, we tell the homies, whoever ain't swinging and getting down, you getting fucked up.
Yeah.
And that's just how it was.
Ah, shit. Now, yeah, I'm laughing, man, because man, that's history. That's our history because I can relate to it. You know what I mean? Back to the question though, other sets, and this is not my opinion, it's part of my observation. You know what I mean? Love the set. Love the set. So that statement, I don't think is as valid as he was trying to make it. One of the homies, I'm like, I didn't agree with it because, like I said, my observation, not my opinion, was not motherfuckers loved Hoover. You know what I mean? Because, like you said, our get down was different. To the point where Kemp's like, wait a minute, we lacking? If this how they, then we need to up our game.
But you know what though, bro? If it's like this, if a lot of these people go to they big homies and listen to the Roots, anytime they had shit like the Funk Festival or any kind of concerts or something, they'll let you know Hoovers was on the front line. Yeah. Started getting down. Right. Like, even enemy motherfuckers that, now I ain't gonna say, stop saying that, but even other motherfuckers at that time when Crips was fighting Bloods or whatever, they'll let you know, like, man, the Hoovers, they was there. Like, they, it was just how it was just a Hoover-ness. And we was built, 107th Street was built that way. We was built because once we had a lot of anger when our big homies left. The reason 107 was like it was, we had a lot of anger from when our big homies left, and we had a lot of anger when Dwayne Bodine got killed. When Dwayne got killed, everybody had anger. So I think when we first I remember we worked out, like, I'm not gonna lie, we do push-ups, fighting each other. We couldn't wait till the first day of school and watching to see them dudes that killed all the homeboy Bodine little brother. And when we got there, we was already prepared. So I think when our whole community, our whole neighborhood at that time seen us getting down up there, all of a sudden, man, we had homegirls. Other motherfuckers like, man, they coming out the motherfucking, they taking the Chuck Taylors off, ready to put biscuits on. I mean, that's just how we built. And then the community was like, man, we want to, that's how 107 rose like it did. Because, like I said, it was hard to be from Hoover when I grew up because we wanted to make sure that we could, because Moon them didn't accept anybody. They when our big homies was around, it wasn't like you can just come and say, right, I'm from 107, or I'm from Hoover, or I want to be a Hoover. It wasn't like that. So I made sure, me and the other homies on my crew, we made sure that when the big homies come home, they're gonna like these dudes. Right. We ain't gonna just let anybody
represent this.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think at that time Hoover was so much of a big juggernaut, because it was hard to be a Hoover, and we gangbanged. I remember living in Watts. I think back catching the bus, I'm Crip down. I'm talking about with the Romeos, the motherfucking khakis, because Hoovers and gangsters, all we did going to Chicago's and Western
we
Surplus.
made them rich.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Man. So again, I just didn't think that was a valid point the loved one was making about, our relationship with other sets, True to the point that we're Hoovers, our get down is different, That being said, there are other sets though that we took a liking to, that we almost like little brothers, so to speak, what I'm saying? We looked out for. That ain't the question I want to ask. The question I want to ask: what happened with the relationship with 90 Hoover and 9 Deuce Hoover and 107 Hoover? What happened?
All I know is,
How'd that go bad?
Well, I think it was a bad situation because, like I said, I don't know what went down, but all I know is I know, in general, that a lot of them they didn't want it to happen. What happened?
What happened? Right.
Because from my understanding, it was an off-brand motherfucker that didn't know nothing, that didn't grow up in the Hoover
About
area.
the function, how we get at.
Yeah, and he reacted, and that reaction, fucked everything up.
Yeah, created the situation.
And by then, it was too late.
Too late to pull back.
Yeah, that's all I know about that.
Them and speaking of them, I was having a conversation the other day, man, with somebody about them. Them dudes was Hoovers. They was Hoovers. Some of them was hard as rest of the Hoovers.
You got to remember, bro. 92nd was a juggernaut.
Yes,
and
sir.
9 Deuce Hoover was like, you got to remember, they made 4 sets in one. You know what I'm saying? It was 9 O's, 9 Deuce, 9 4, 107, probably more. 11 Deuce. Like I said, 9 Deuce was all the way to Imperial.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know.
So they was, and then at the same time, by us growing up like in UG Hood and West Side Hood and stuff like that, from my point of view, I just don't think that they really enjoyed us being Hoovers because, it was more like they felt that, I just look at it like that. They felt that was they shit and they didn't want nothing new coming, So that's why I kind of look back now as like the criminals.
9 Deuce.
No, I'm talking about the West.
The West Side Underground didn't.
Because there was certain things that happened back then, that we felt that they was kind of like they didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like I said before, they was like the shit then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then when 92nd, it was like a new flavor came through.
The juggernaut.
Yeah. And they didn't.
It landed.
I don't think, that's like anybody, bro. That's like, anybody that was so dominant so long, and then shit started getting turned over, people don't like change.
That's right. But it's inevitable.
Because a lot of our G's, brothers was UGs and stuff. And they didn't, I don't think they enjoyed the change because it was certain incidents happened after that. But, Hoover, it was Hoover. And at that time, like I said, the good thing about Hoover when it was back then, Moo taught us, we didn't really, now, people say we 107s and stuff, but back then we pushed Hoover real hard because when we went, I remember places like when we went places, it'd be the Foles trays, 9 Deuces, everything went together. And when it all come down to it, homie, when we was turning shit out, it's all that when the smoke clear, when school get ready to start, all you hear is, did you hear about what the Hoovers did? It's not about
not 92nd,
not 7th,
not 83rd, not yet. Hoover.
Yeah, then that's why they were saying Hoover did it.
Hoover did it, yeah. So with I had watched an interview with Miz. And Miz said, you just said this though, and not conscious of what I'm about to say. It was hard to be a Hoover. He said that. It was hard. He said he didn't know how.
Well, what I will say is I tilt my hat to him because not just him, he was man enough to say it, but there's a lot of motherfuckers from different sets right now that's not that started that couldn't hang. And I'm not putting them down.
Right.
It was just that we was ready to put our lives on the line for that shit. And they, some people can only go so far. But at that time when we wanted our big homies to hear the ring of 107 when we was doing our thing. You know what I'm saying? That's what our goal was. Our goal was to make this shit ring and let these motherfuckers, I wanted my brother to know, like, motherfucker, this shit is still cracking. Like,
this shit, this creation.
And that's what it was about, homie. It was about, like I say, people don't believe that because how big 107 kind of got now. But at that time, before, if it wasn't for motherfuckers to pick that torch up, our set probably would have damn near went extinct because, like I said, all our big hitters was gone. But Moo stood there, and Moo guided us and gave us the guidance that we needed,
Set the set on the right.
He was
course,
our big brother,
so to speak. Yeah.
Moo was all of Moo really was like my big brother too, because when my brother left, Moo just out of him, he always kept me with him. That's where a lot of my Hoover come from. Moo always took me when I was a little kid places with him, and you know, Lil Red, you know, he was like my second brother, you know.
Okay.
All my big homies treated me like that because of my brother being gone. I don't know what it was, but at that time, I'm not saying just because that's my brother, but back then we all of us respected and looked up to our big homies for doing what they did for the set. And I ain't gonna lie, it was times I wanted to be that. I wanted to do that because I was doing a lot of shit, bro, at that time. And I was like, that's how I met, you know, that's another stage we go through. When I started going to jail, I went to jail. I couldn't wait to go to jail, man, because I wanted motherfuckers to know about Hoover. And I went to jail. That's when I met Maxwell, Kilowatt, down ass Crips from everywhere. I was meeting down Crips that I'm like, damn, these motherfuckers is like us, like, you know. And they back then, it was a lot of motherfuckers. I take that back. It was a lot of motherfuckers had love for Hoover. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because it was gangs that we was just not, we wasn't in the facility of them, so we really didn't never have nothing against them, like Broadways and all them. So when we went to jail, they had love for us, bro.
It was there. They were, there was a distance, you know what I mean? Not saying that we didn't go that far or whatever, but we didn't intermingle like we did with Main Streets, for instance.
Yeah. Well,
and other sets that we kicked
Main
it with.
Streets mingled with us.
No, I'm not saying that. That's what I'm saying. You know, but the Harlems back then didn't, you know, in other sets, but they got stumped down dudes that loved us, said we love them back. You know what I mean? They were just, you know, way over there doing their thing, stumped down cats. Now, and I mean to take you back purposely, both of y'all, to the 9-0 issue. All right. I wanted to have that discussion specifically because I wanted to be known. I'm gonna see if I can't get a couple of them guys on the show, you know, and get their, because it's part of our history. I want to get that perspective. You know what I mean? I want to get that perspective, you know. Being that, you know, shit went the way it went, man, whatnot. Aside from that, these guys were guys y'all knew, kicked it with, you know, even grew up with. In some instances, they were related, you know, the family, you know what I mean? So, I mean, it had to be one of them things. I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't in that moment. It had to like hurt, you know what I mean? Like, damn, man, some terrible shit. You know, not just that situation, but then the situation that came after, you know, had to affect, you know, homies. You know, how did they look at that? How did they deal with that? Because these was the homies, you know. You know, these was the homies, you know.
Like I said, from my understanding, I don't think, because at that time when we first started getting in, you know, we was always kind of like getting into it with them, because they, you know, anytime you break out a new set, motherfuckers want to know if y'all Hoovers. We want to know if you niggas down.
Yeah, let me see.
We want to know if y'all down. But I believe a lot of the OG ones knew the task. You know what I'm saying? And it's unfortunate that a motherfucker from somewhere else came
and did that.
But that's just how we was. And we was always fighting. You know, and I heard it was over fight. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how Hoover got down. We was always
testing ours.
Yeah.
That's what we did, you know. So I can relate to that growing up. You know, couldn't, like you said, I couldn't wait to get jail test. But like, I'm gonna go through everything in here, man.
You know what, bro? When I went to jail, I think that's what really made me who I was, because that's when I started meeting motherfuckers like Line and Big Man from the Fold. You know, I mean, like Tim, the Joy. I mean, like I said, everywhere I went, the homies was on the front line.
Right, everywhere. So, Doboy, let me ask you, man. And I get it. I get it. All right, I get it. As far as that question with the 9-0s go for you, how did you see that? I mean, well, to this day, they say a lot of them dudes still claim Hoover. I don't know how true that is, you know. Or
I wouldn't doubt it, because I remember at Benno's funeral. I remember at Benno's funeral, one of the little homies was saying he was visiting the pen. And Space Ghost still be like,
still got his tag. He ain't the only one.
You know, and it's crazy. I seen Space Ghost a couple of times. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't no friendly thing. But I seen him a couple of times, and I had a talk with him before, and he was like, you know, because you know, some shit happened with my brother-in-law, and he, you know, we had a talk. You know what I mean? But I believe that because at that time, a while back, I remember he used to go to Manchester Park and all that. Yeah.
He was athlete and shit. You know, I know him. You know, you know, he knew. And
I remember one time I was heated, me and the homie, me and the homie Devil, and we went over there on 92nd, you know, ready, like, and went up on him, like, and what saved that shit back then was Lucky Fella from Detroit.
Trey folks, 7-Eleven, the Deuce and the Nine. You have been, you will be under the
But we ain't game banging, this is about education. We trying to educate our youth right now.
Nigga, hey, said day is the best day. Skip walking across the floor in the best way. From Trey to the one way. It's a stump day. LA to the NY. Let this funk play.
Back in them days, it was love, loyalty, respect, and honesty.
That's my nigga Gumby right
Nowadays,
there from the
you know,
juice.
ex-busters, hooks, and snitches put on pedestals and ventilators.
Say lows on that Hoover shit. HIP, Tony Moon, one of the hardest poets I ever heard connected with this star shit. Hey. Baby Jap and Jap 5, quick to set it off on the mic in the shack live.
When the shit get real and feel to the wheel, and then you will see sitting up in that motherfucker, looking at that license, that death sentence.
Then they run into the witness stand, telling on their own homeboys.
Hoover stomp, like this, Hoover stomp.
I know trouble, I know how to start them fiasco trouble.
I'm a New York nigga in the Pacific Sun. I say West Side Hoover if you ask where I'm from. Province California runs, still infusing my lungs. All about my bread, I ain't leaving.
Understand the end game. What's your end game? What's your purpose?
Keep one in the head or I don't need a gun. I'm with Hawk on Hoover Street with a low rider's drum. Hopping down Figueroa with a whole selling cunt.
You have been.
Like this, come second to none. Grooving like Scone Young, grooving like Booker Bone. I'm bad to the bone.